Hi everybody, Carol here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm making an impossible card, a Christmas impossible card, or it could be winter. And I've made many before and they're on my YouTube channel. This is a 5x7 card that I take to my scoreboard. I turn it to the 5-inch side and I find the middle, 2.5 inches. You could score that all the way down. I try to just score in the middle and I'll show you where in a minute. But it doesn't matter that much. And then on the top part there, I'm dividing the 7 inches in half, making a mark at 3.5 inches, and I'm just drawing this pencil line so that you can see more clearly where those marks are. I'm also drawing where I would normally score, kind of right in the middle, the 3.5 inches in the middle. And then I switch it around, put the other end up at the top, and I make what I call tabs. I make mine 1 3/4 inches. They do not have to be. So I'm scoring them first, which is what I would normally do, and then just drawing the pencil so that you can see it. And then I will go to the other side and mark off the 1 3/4. Later I will go back and cut these 3 lines that meet in the center, and you will definitely see that as we go along. And that way you will actually flip the right hand side backwards and it makes it the impossible card. So here are the measurements: 1 3/4, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, and then the other 1 3/4 inches. I will have a picture of this at the end if you need to refer to it again. Now I've cut some cardstock and some printed paper. That's what it looks like when you cut those slits, and that's how you can flip it backwards. Now I used some 3 colors of blue cardstock, pattern paper that went together. It came in a kit, a pad together, and I cut them out to fit on those different areas of the impossible card, the little tabs and then the 3.5 inch rectangles. I also have one long piece there in the middle. You'll see that. I'm putting glue on, Tombow Mono Multi glue, and I'm setting it aside to dry. Now I wanted to make some snowy hillsides, so I just randomly drew and cut out some little hillsides that the polar bears are going to sit on, and you will see them in just a second. But I have 2 pieces that are going to overlap, and there you go. I'm flipping it back. They will overlap. That will actually end up on the front and not the back. But where they touch, if you did push them back to overlap, I wanted them to line up. So I made a little mark right where one ends and the other one starts, and then I don't care how I cut it on the left hand side, it will be hidden. So we're starting to put it together. Here are the 2 different colors of paper and the hillside and one of the polar bears, and then here is the other stamp with the mother and child, I guess you would say. I colored very little coloring with Prismacolors. I had to cut it out because my hair got in it so much. But here are the stamps. They're so cute. And so some of my glue has dried, and so now it is repositionable. That's the way Tombow is. I'm putting down the first square. Well, it's a rectangle. Then the second smaller rectangle with cardstock and printed paper. You can probably tell that's going to be one of the tabs. Then another piece of blue cardstock with print paper on top. It will be a tab 2, but it's going to go on what we would consider the bottom. Now here's a little tab that you will see where it goes in a minute, and what I do with it. So when you flip that right hand side back, I'm trying to show you, and that's where the cuts are made. It goes back like that, and you're actually going to see the bottom of the card. But it's easier to put it together by turning it over. So here goes my little snowy hill, one of my snowy hills. and then the back to the front again, and the little polar bear that's drinking a cup of hot cocoa or whatever he's drinking. And I wanted to, this was part of the video that got lost, but I wanted to show you that I wanted to write Merry Christmas with my markers, and I did, but it doesn't show here, but you will see it in a minute. I did it in pencil first and went back over it. One of the things I wanted to put on that long strip that said Merry Christmas was just one more little cup, so I stamped that polar bear again and cut out that little cup. So now we're going to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Instead of flipping that over and working at it that direction, I turn the whole thing over, work on what appears to be the back. There's a hill and the snowflake pattern paper, some more snowflake patterned paper, and now I will put down the main center of attention right here, the snowflake on the top 3.5-inch rectangle, a snowbank, a hill, and then I'm going to say the mother and child, but it could be the father and child. Now when you turn it back, it was a little tight there, but it doesn't matter because it's going to stay. That's how the hill's lined up. And now you can see why the back becomes the front. And then here's the little tab with the Merry Christmas on it. I don't normally do this, but I don't need it. It's not for sturdiness. It's just for decoration. And I'm showing how I cut that little cup out of, from that very same polar bear stamp. Okay, so there goes the little cup down. And I will bridge it across that opening. But right now I'm going to let you see this. And then how it flips back, and that is why it's called the Impossible Card. It's hard to imagine how that's just one piece of paper. So it's a lot of fun, and usually I leave my cards interactive where you can flip it back and forth, but I'm going to do this way this time. Put the little strip across it that says Merry Christmas, and the card is complete if you want it to be complete. But I'm going to take it a step further. First of all, I will show you, last year I made these 3 cards. They're slightly different, each one with that same stamp set. It's an old vintage Stampin' Up! Stamp set. I'm not a dealer, never have been. You might could find this somewhere. But that's where I got the inspiration, was from those cards. Now I decided to take it a step further, and I have a border die called Snowflake Border by Darice. So I did that. I cut it, I die cut it, and then chopped it up into different pieces. It's not symmetrical. I wanted it to just be a little different. So I put a row of snowflakes on one side, a little piece at the top, and then I'm going to play around with it, see where I want it. Put that one there, kind of random. And then another little piece of it. You can play with these, chop them up, see where you like. I put them all over the place, and it's a lot of fun. This is the design I ended up with. So that is the completion of this card. Now you can write on the back of that if you want to say with love, or put the date, or whatever you want to do. But I wanted to carry it one step further. I thought this would really be cute, almost as a placemat, but you wouldn't want to get it dirty with food. So I'll put it on the red, and then I love red and this shade of blue together. And I thought like a table name place holder, you know, or a tag, and put it, you could have it on your table, and just when the food comes, remove it, and just they could even take it home for a favor if you wanted to, or you could keep it if you're going to have the same people next year and save it for next year. But I wanted to personalize it and make it a name placeholder, and so again I used my Pentel pens and wrote out a name, but you could print it. You could use your alphabet stamps. You could even print it out on the computer. And then I didn't glue this down. I didn't take the time to glue it down for you, but that is what it would look like. And each table, each place setting could have that. There's Linda if you wanted that, just to give you an example. But that is it. That's the original card. How it, not the original, the others were those are the originals at the bottom, but how it just kept growing and growing into the snowflakes and then into the holders, the name holders. But and then there are the measurements if you want to go back to them. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.